Hello, friends out there in the internet lands. My name is Jaimelyn Gray, and I am here to welcome you to You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about Milwaukee theater things. It is the week of Thursday, January 22nd. That is where we are at. Time just goes now, doesn't it? Wow. Anyway, I am back from a little excursion off the mainland. I actually the previous week's episode I had recorded before I left town, and so I am back and I am refreshed. And this is a new episode of You've Got a Thing, and I've got a great interview for you today with Alexander Coddington, who is the director of I Am My Own Wife by Doug Wright over at Milwaukee Chamber Theatre. And so we'll get to that in a minute. But I have a couple of things to go over with you that are also things going on in the community, so you can plan your weekend accordingly and navigate hopefully multiple projects at the same time, because Lord knows we need much catharsis these days. And so we are here to offer it to you. So I just have a couple of things that I need to go over before we get into that interview. And so let's get to those things. First of all, we've got over at Renaissance Theater Works, Cardboard Piano by Hansel Jung. Last week's episode was talking to Susan Fate, about the artistic director of Renaissance Theater Works, about this production. And now that they've had about a week to get the production out there and things, the feedback that I personally am seeing online is incredibly positive, and lots of people, lots of friends of mine, so word of mouth, saying you should go see this. This is something wonderful, and so I encourage you to do that as well. The story is that it's the New Year's Eve 1999 in war-torn Uganda. And if you don't know anything about Uganda, I don't know if you want to go and check out the history of the late 90s before you go and see the show, so that you get some context. I mean, I'm sure you'll get some context with the show itself, but you might want to just do a little digging, a little bit. But two young lovers, one local girl and the other the daughter of American missionaries, marry in secret, and then things, because they're in war-torn Uganda, sort of fall apart and are challenged from there. And we don't like spoilers around here, so if you do, you might want to check out some content disclosures or whatever they might have on the website. You can do that at rtwmke.org. rtwmke.org is the website for more information about this show and tickets, should you want to go and check that out. Again, Cardboard Piano by Hansel Jung at Renaissance Theater Works. Next, we have opening tomorrow. We've got a little known piece called Amadeus. You might have heard of it. It's a tiny little show, sort of. No, not really. Skylight has decided to do this. It is a play. It is a drama, but they've added music to it, so it is a musical experience there at Skylight Music Theater. So this is happy opening to them, and this is directed by Karen Estrada, who is a wonderful Milwaukee-based artist. Does a lot of work all over the place, and all over Milwaukee is what I meant to say. If you don't know anything about Amadeus or any of the stories that are out there for Amadeus, the way that it goes, or what they say, is that you can witness the genius and envy collide in Amadeus. Salieri, Vienna's court composer, grapples with bitter jealousy at the flamboyant Mozart's divine as the flamboyant Mozart's divine talent eclipses his own. So it's a battle of wits and egos and all of those things that artists can experience. And so if you want to check that out, you can go to smtmke.org, smtmke.org for Amadeus, and that's going to run through February 8th. Over there at the Cabot, the beautiful, big, amazing Cabot Theater. And so, yes, that opens tomorrow, and you can check that out should you accept this challenge. Then last but certainly not least, Interchange Theater Co-op, the wonderful, amazing group of talented humans over there, have their weekend offerings of improv. And this week they've got Sports Bra featuring Fractal on Friday night and Rivertown featuring the Daily Herald on Saturday night. Both of those shows start at 7:30 p.m. You can check their website for more information about those groups and what they actually have to offer as far as what those particular, because it's different improv groups that get together and then they do their improv thing, and it's funny and awesome. And so you can go to interchangetheater.com. That's a TER, interchangetheater.com. And if you do /shows, you will get right to where you need to be. But otherwise, their website is really easy to navigate, interchangetheater.com, for your weekly intake of improv. And they have open mic, and I guess I checked their website and they moved their open mic to Sundays. They used to be on Thursdays. They're not on Thursdays anymore. Now they're on Sundays, and I think they start at 6 p.m. is what I saw for that. And so if you would like to try some things, go out into the Interchange Theater over there at the 10th Street. They exist, and at the big red church, but it's the side entrance. You're actually like in the basement. It's very weird because it's on a hill, and so you actually are in the basement, but you can enter on the side street on 10th Street there. And so that's what you can do to get to Interchange. And you should do that. And you should do something. You should see Renaissance, Skylight, Interchange, or Milwaukee Chamber Theater, that we're going to talk about right now with Alexander Coddington. If you know of any shows that are happening and you would like them to be talked about on this program, you can feel free to reach out to me. That's just, you can reach out to info at MKETA, Milwaukee Theatre Alliance.org, info at MKETA Makita.org. And get more get more show things on here and tell more people about lots more things, because I know there's more things in the world going on other than these Theater Alliance things that I talk about. So just let me know. But for now, let's get to that interview with Alexander Coddington. It was on the longer side because he did a really great job of like filling out all the some of the history and a lot about who this one person character show was, and it's a really great interview. So check it out right now. Yes, and with me today I have Alexander Coddington with me today, and we were just talking about how we've never met.
Yeah, I've seen shows, but we've never met.
Floating through the things. We were in Chicago at the same time, all kinds of things, and nothing, which just really speaks to how large and small at the same time the theater community actually is.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, of course.
I'm very excited to have you here because this show is something we need to talk about, because one-person shows are very challenging. Yes.
Yeah.
Particularly for the singular artist person who is doing the things. Maybe John will pop on at a little point, but if not, we'll just talk about John, and then their ears will buzz for all of time. Yeah. But I'm just and I read all the press stuff that Stephanie sent over, and I'm just very interested in this person's life.
Charlotta.
Yes. And what they contributed to the universe. Yeah. What you contributed to the universe.
Yeah.
So first of all, let's talk about you.
Okay.
So let's talk about your artistic journey for people who do not know you, because there might be somebody listening going, who is this person? I don't know this person. And to that we go, nice to meet you. So how did you start your theatrical journey, and how did you end up at Chamber then with this show?
With this show. I mean, Chamber is the first professional theater that I ever worked at.
Yay.
Yeah. And I think that you will find a lot of people in this community who say, my first professional job was given to me by Michael Wright. You know, I was Michael's assistant director on The Train Driver, which was a show in the 14-15, which was like January it's the same slot. It's the sort of the January of 2015.
Right on.
Yeah. And so I was Michael's assistant director on Train Driver. We got along really, really well. I spent the next season at Chamber as the audience development coordinator. So spent a season on staff before heading down to Chicago. I ended up, all told, assistant directing 3 productions at Chamber, 2 for Michael Wright, 1 for Marie Kohler, and then directed for Chamber's Young Playwrights Festival when Marcy Kearns was producing that. I've directed a couple of readings. And so this is the first time that I guess I directed a reading last fall, and that was the first time that I had sort of worked at Chamber during Brent's tenure. And we were just having conversations about plays that would feel like they really sort of met this moment. And I think that and Brent had the idea Brent brought me this one. And we talked about it, and we felt that it's a play that it really, it won the Pulitzer Prize and the Tony. It's the only solo actor play to win the Pulitzer Prize for drama, and won the Tony for Best Play. And those things happened in 2004. But I think that the evolution of the trans community, sort of how trans issues have become really sort of at the forefront of modern political conversation. I think this play is really, really meeting its moment in a really powerful way right now. So I'm really, 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 really happy to be doing it. Really proud to be doing it at Chamber.
Right on. Where did you go to school? What did you?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah, I grew up as an Army brat, moved all over the world,
That must have been boring.
It's a lot like theater, going from production to production.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. You pick up and go to the next one, then you meet a whole new group of people, and some of those people like stay with you for the rest of your life, and and then you go on to the next one. And but I spent sort of the latter half of my childhood in Washington State, which is where my mom is from. My parents live in Washington D.C. now, but they were living in Washington State. And I came to Milwaukee to go to Marquette.
Nice.
And I think that I probably, like a lot of people who come here from out of state, thought I didn't want to go to school in a big city. I just wanted something a little bit quieter, but that still felt like an urban environment. And I was like, oh, well, I'll come here and I will do 4 years, in this, collegiate, academia. And then I will go to New York or Chicago, like where theater is. Because when because you don't know when you're, but then I got here, and I was like, oh, and like when I was in school, I was seeing shows at Chamber, I was seeing shows at Renaissance and Next Act, and initially because of the people who were like a couple years above me, like started like working on stuff, and I would go see that, and then I just started.
Absolutely.
And I. Towards the end of college, I was the TA for an acting class taught by Deborah Staples, and I also assistant directed Marty Goebel on a production. And working with those two women made me feel like, oh, this is a place where people work and live and have families and have homes, and that was really, really exciting to me. And I was, and I had, been to New York on trips and things, and there were things that I'd seen here that were, way better than things that I'd seen in New York. Think about Aaron Posner's production of To Kill a Mockingbird at Milwaukee Rep, and Iliad, when Jimmy DeVita did it at Milwaukee Rep before he did it at APT. What are some of the other plays that I saw during that time that I was like, whoa? The Road to Mecca at Renaissance Theater Works was sort of a really mind-blowing one. Linda Stevens and John Daly and Bree Sudia in that one. I think Susan directed that. And so I was seeing all of this really beautiful, powerful, Angela Iannone as in Masterclass as Maria Callas, and seeing all of this theater in this town that I really, really loved, and loved all of the people that I was meeting, and started working professionally before I graduated. And I've since done a lot of bopping around, but have always come back here. Like, this has always felt like home. Certainly felt like an artistic home.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I do think that speaks to the Milwaukee environment, where you can, as much as anyone can, as an artist, have it all. You can kind of have it all. You can have that family life experience and find artistic fulfillment.
Yeah.
So, I Am My Own Wife by Doug Wright. Like you said, 2004. So it's 20 years old now at this point. And as you said, there's the trans rights and trans life have really come to the forefront in the past few years. And so it probably, I would almost think that it would feel more, not now, that's not the word that I'm looking for. It would feel more close to whereas like 2004 it would feel like new and sort of forward thinking. Now it feels like I know people, I have friends in my life.
I think that maybe a mainstream audience might have sort of received the show, and this is not me talking about Doug Wright's intentions, this is me talking about is maybe as a little bit more of a sideshow, as certainly if you go look at press materials from productions 15, 20 years ago, they almost all use the word transvestite.
Interesting. Yes.
And it's a word that Charlotta used for herself. You know, she would often say,
Absolutely.
a thing that she would say often is, you know, I'm a transvestite. I'm not a transsexual. As a way of sort of thinking about her gender identity. And those are both sort of words that we don't really use anymore.
Yeah.
Right? They're sort of really out of fashion. They're not terms that the trans community embraces in sort of a modern parlance and are often found offensive.
Yes.
And something that I think that is really moving is that the play won the Pulitzer and won the Tony. And a few years ago, and sort of despite that, a few years ago, Doug went back and did a revised version of the play for a production at Long Wharf Theater in New Haven, Connecticut, that had a largely trans team working on it. And just sort of didn't change anything structurally, but did a little bit of a pass at the language and made some adjustments for the way in which we talk about trans people being different. Didn't really change any of Charlotta's language because he really wanted that to be truthful and speak to, it is, you know, after all, still a period piece. And wanted her to be able to speak for herself in terms of what words. So the line, you know, I'm a transvestite, I'm not a transsexual, is still in the play because those are words she had for herself. But there are moments in the play where other people are talking about her that have sort of changed pretty significantly. And I think it really speaks to Doug's care for Charlotta, memory, just his caretaking of her memory. He's sort of been such a curator of her spirit in modern popular culture. Like, I think a lot of people know who she is because of the play. And so he actually used a large portion of his royalties for the Broadway production to pay for a pretty major renovation of the museum that she curated.
Right on.
It was in real disrepair, and he felt, you know, it's the least I could do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he was like, you know, she gave me so much, you know, it's what I can do. Yeah.
Can you talk about Charlotta as a person? Like, like who is she? Where did she come from? What is why is she needed to be needed? Why did she need to have a full production for her own?
Yeah, so Charlotta von Malsdorf was born in 1928 in East Berlin. She was, you know, openly gender nonconforming at a time when that was really dangerous, especially, you know, and she was an openly gender nonconforming trans person, during the Third Reich, during the time of Nazism. Crazy. And then during East German communism, which was very repressive. F-175 and had a lot of sort of homophobic laws and legislation in that time. And she was able to sort of survive both of these regimes with a real sense of cunning and grace and charisma and wit. She's very funny. And she was a museum curator. She had a antique furniture museum in the giant house that she lived in. It was focused on Die Grundezeit, which is a period in Germany, really is basically just like the 1890s. It's like a very sort of specific period in German industrial history, you know, late 19th century. And through Nazism and East German communism, she saved so many artifacts. She saved a lot of records by Jewish composers that would have been destroyed by the Nazis. Saved so many things in her basement. There was a sort of really sort of significant gay bar in East Berlin that the Soviets were going to bulldoze, and she took it apart piece by piece and recreated it in her basement.
Wow.
So she was a real preservationist. Yeah. And after the wall came down, was sort of recognized with the German Medal of Honor for the work that she did for cultural preservation in Berlin during the 20th century.
That's amazeballs. That's something else.
Yeah. And for twists and turns that I don't want to fully give away.
No spoilers here.
No spoilers here. She led a really complex life and was a complicated person and was not always an easy person. And I think that the play really asks us to consider her as a whole person and the sort of the beauty of considering a whole person and the importance of doing that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about John as this character, since John is not here to speak?
Jonathan Riker is a Milwaukee actor.
Yes.
Because of how specific this role is, this character is, we saw auditions from all across the country, and was really, really thrilled that it was very obvious that the person that needed to do this play was right here. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
But working with John has been really phenomenal. Yeah, has been a great experience, and was a EPR at the Rep several seasons ago, and been working, and yeah. It's
emerging theater artist for people who don't know what that is.
Yes,
professional. Yeah.
It's sort of on the younger end of performers who have done this play.
Okay.
But I think sort of that's been a really cool window into the play. Sort of journeys with Charlotta from about 1928 to about 2002. So it really covers the breadth of a whole life. So anyone, I think anyone sort of any age can really do it, and it just sort of means something slightly different depending on where you are on the spectrum of that.
Sure. Yeah. And then you have a wonderful, amazing assistant director.
I do. Leo Madsen is my assistant director, who's really, really wonderful. And John and Leo both worked on a reading of a play called Anatomical Hearts by Elsie Hovey, who is in Madison, for Chamber's Montgomery Davis play development series.
Right on.
That was part of their new play program. Anatomical Hearts is great. I love that play. It's about a group of trans and queer medical students at Harvard in the 1850s, 60s. In the 1800s. So that was a really fascinating, incredible journey to go on. And so I'd worked with John in a very limited capacity, and now we're working with each other in a very large capacity.
Yes. And who else do you have on this process? Like what other shout outs do you need to give for your team?
Absolutely. The all local team.
All
local. Yeah.
We love that.
We do. We love it. Was very intentional. Scenic design is by Sarah Hunt Frank, who's phenomenal. I think that when people have popped into tech, they've found the set to be beautiful and mysterious and full of wonder and surprises. And I'm really excited for people to experience Sarah's work in that space.
Is it loaded? Like, is it just like stuff everywhere?
Yes and no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Lighting is by Maz Ahmed, who's
Love the Maz.
Broadway Maz, as we call Maz now. Broadway Maz. The lighting is beautiful. Hasmin Aurora Medina is doing our costumes, which also have a few surprises. Josh Schmidt. It's Josh's fourth production of this play. It's a play that he cares about deeply.
Obviously.
And he has still approached this process. What he's done on this production is very, very different than what he's done on previous productions of it. Because I think this production feels very different. I think that people who come and see this production, I think it feels different from other iterations, and from I think people who feel like they saw it at the Rep when it sort of was first making the regional theater rounds. I do think that this production feels very different. I think partially because to do this play now means something very different than it means to do this play in, while Barack Obama is president.
Yeah.
I hope that, queer and trans and non-binary people come and see this play about resilience and strength and surviving unbearable times, which is the thing that Charlotta did and is the thing that we are doing right now. This is a play about a trans person living under fascism, right? And I think that for the non-queers who are going to come, and we want them to come, I hope that they come and see a story about someone from a community of which there's been a lot of rhetoric about. There have been a lot of things said about. I think that the way that politicians are able to sort of scare you about trans people is because a lot of people don't know a trans person, and I hope that people come and they meet this woman, and they really come in and feel like they've experienced an incredible amount of humanity in her story. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's what I hope for as well.
Yeah.
That's what I hope. A lot of stories are in what people derive from a lot of stories that we tell is the stories of humanity and how and why seeing the humanness of all of us is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all of the stuff that Charlotta saved, she at one point says that, all of the things in her museum are a record of living, of lives. And it, that when people were taken to concentration camps, when people were disappeared by secret military police, that Charlotta saved their things, and she protected them, and the memory of those people is able to live on because she was there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people want to go and see, and they should, I Am My Own Wife at Milwaukee Chamber Theatre. They can go to Milwaukee Chamber Theatre, that's a TRE.org, and find your tickets over there. The chamber site is very easy. You will be able to find where you need to go without any problems.
I got sidetracked on my Josh Schmidt tangent, but I should also say some Peggy is doing props. And local legend Raylene McMillian is our voice and dialect designer.
Oh, yay, because you need to have that as well. Yes. I would imagine. Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that, Milwaukee, a thing that I've sort of said throughout the process is that Milwaukee is a city that has sort of a really famous German history, but that also has like a really rich queer history and the queer history of the building. Do you know about the queer history of the building that we're doing the play in?
I have zero idea.
So in the 70s and 80s, 158 North Broadway was a gay nightclub, disco, and bathhouse called The Factory.
Okay.
And they don't tell you that on the Skylight Building Tour.
They do not do that on the Skylight Building Tour? Why not?
You'd have to.
Sounds like very interesting history to me, and not that long ago. Hello.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Black Knight Brawl happened in Walker's Point 8 years before the Stonewall Riot, and so I think that it feels like really the perfect place to be doing the play.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
So go to MilwaukeeChamberTheatre.org and get your tickets and see Jonathan Riker do. I'm fairly certain a superb job.
It's about 35 characters.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah.
Just 35? Not 36 or 37? Okay.
No, just 35.
All right. Well, I'm a little disappointed. and you guys open like tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we are recording this on Thursday. Our preview is tomorrow, and then we open on Saturday.
Oh, you open on Saturday.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we have sort of a lot of queer programming that is happening around the play.
Great.
I know that there's a Pride Night later in the run that is
Great.
sort of curated by Adam Ossers of Fair, Wisconsin, and Silver Anderson, who are two local trans non-binary community members and artistic leaders. SIP Studio, which is Chambers, they pick a Saturday between the 4 o'clock and the 8 o'clock. They do some programming in there. So that will be sort of very queer and community focused.
Yay.
And then opening night should be a real celebration. Yeah.
Well, I hope you have just a wonderful, fantastic opening and a wonderful, fantastic run. And I thank you so much for coming and telling the story and all the backstory stuff.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. And hopefully you can come and visit with us again when you tell another amazing story somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait for you to see the play.
I will be there. I'm a matinee person.
Sure.
So I will do the matinee at some point in time because that's my favorite.
Yeah.
And
a weekday matinee or a weekend matinee?
Weekday matinee. I love those 1 p.m. thingamajiggers. They're my favorite. And I go and I'm there with all the elder states persons.
Yes.
Of the 1 p.m. times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like that's often I think that they were telling us that there's a 1 p.m. matinee that we can go see Amadeus across the hall, and there's a different 1 p.m. matinee that Amadeus can come see us. So the 1 p.m. is where you'll also sort of bump into a lot of theater folk. Yes,
I will also do the 1 p.m. of Amadeus. Yes. Yeah. So yes, but I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of the Riker. I think they're something special, and I'm very excited that they have started building a resume here in Milwaukee and a really existing in the Milwaukee space. Yeah. So. Yeah. But thank you so much, and I hope you have a most wonderful day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Huzzah! There you are. There is your interview for this week. Alex, it was really great to talk to you. I really enjoyed that conversation. There was just a lot of stuff that I didn't know, and now I know. And knowing is half the battle, is it not now? So there you go. Next week, I forget who's on the schedule right at this moment in time, but I imagine it's like we're going to talk to Skylight here really soon about Amadeus and get somebody in here to talk about that show. Very excited about that as well, since that's opening tomorrow. So happy opening again to them. And I do want to say, after coming back from being somewhere else in the world, there's a lot of really stressful things happening in the world right now. And I just want you to be mindful of, taking care of yourself and taking care of others. And, if you see something, say something. We are all human, and we all have sort of a duty to take care of each other. Just make sure that if you see something going wrong, I don't know, blow a whistle. I don't know, honk your car horn. I don't know. Some people like making noise like that. So thank you so much for joining me this week. And I hope that you will come back next week and talk more about, hear more about theater things. Just let me know just message me. Let me know about things that are happening around the world, and I will try to get back to you on that, because that is my new mission for this year. I've kind of been flying by the seat of my pantyhose the past 2 years because of just life, and I want to be back to get my feet on the ground and be more present and here, and control the things that I can control. And maybe you'll do that with me. Yes? Yes. All right. So I will see you next week on You've Got a Thing.